NFTs are dead, but why do they die? And is there any chance in hell that they might ever come back? I think there's a slight chance, and I'm going to talk about that in this video. So let's talk about NFTs, how they became big and why they died, and how so many people got trapped with their value, lots of money stuck in worthless digital graphics. Now, NFTs themselves, the idea is absolutely a brilliant one. It is obviously non-fungible tokens. It's a way of transferring analog value into digital. So if you think back a whole bunch of years, if you're old enough, like myself, you remember the times when you had to buy, say for instance, music, or you had to pay for photos because, it was printed out in using film, and then, it was photographed using film and then printed out again, maybe using film paper, or you had to go out to HMV or somewhere to buy your music because it was on vinyl or on cassette and CDs, etc. And then all of a sudden the MP3 came and completely destroyed that, took the value, the analog inherent value from the music, even though the music's own value, the creator's talent that went into creating the intellectual property was still in the music. The actual requirement to buy something got taken away because you could duplicate at the press of a button. Anytime you can duplicate something at the press of a button and create an infinite number, then the value decreases. The value inherent in many things is in its scarcity and inability to create more, which is why, for instance, Bitcoin is eventually viable because it's got a limited supply. Same with land, same with property, etc. Economics 101. So the same thing happened with photography. It used to be, you hire a photographer, they came in, they had film, they took your picture, you pay for, lots of money. Or if you did it yourself, you had to go to have it printed out. And just the fact that that was hard to do, rare, not very common, not very easy to duplicate, the value was up. It was expensive. You had to pay money for it. It made it more valuable. Again, when digital photography happened, click, 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 click. You can click and take 1 million photos, 100% absolutely free. Once you've got your camera, everything was free from then. So again, the value completely went out of an art form that actually still has inherent value due to the photographer's skill. So it was a way of bringing value back from the analog realm back into the digital world to give digital things the analog value because they were unique and non-fungible. Okay, so that's the idea. It's a brilliant idea. It was working well, and it was boosted by its coincident happening with the global pandemic. What happened with the pandemic is that the pandemic basically made something else pop, which was the metaverse. And the metaverse meant that a lot of the things in the metaverse obviously are non-fungible. So the way to create a metaverse that is persistent across computers and across time is to make elements in that metaverse non-fungible. So they're not just digital prints. They're not just, on the fly rendering of graphics. These were actual tokenized non-fungible items that could be taken and bought and sold in a marketplace. So what that did was bring analog value from outside to a digital realm. Does that make sense? So if you were playing games back in the 1990s, you were playing your Street Fighter, that Street Fighter, is the Street Fighter. Everybody has their own Street Fighter on their own computer, on their own little console. They were not related to each other. They rebooted every time you turned your computer off, everything reset. You had some memory persistence if you had a card that could store some digits that can then reset stuff. You had some elements of that, but it wasn't non-fungible across machines or what have you. But now, with network communications, we're all linked together. The ability to have non-fungible tools like, weapons in a game and, guns and achievements and stuff makes them tradable. So it put value into those things. And because the metaverse was popping, because we're all locked down and looking for other ways of associating with each other. People were buying land in the metaverse. Companies were buying, street names. It was absolutely insane, right? And all these street names and locations, and there was like a metaverse real estate agents and stuff. It was absolutely insane. This was just 2 years ago, by the way. And all of that is gone to nothing because, again, we're now free to walk outside and actually go out to the cafe and meet out with a friend, go to the park and meet out in real life. Turns out human beings, we want real life things. We don't want to be stuck behind a machine and pretend to be doing stuff. Companies like Facebook renamed themselves to Meta because they thought this metaverse was going somewhere. But now we're out and about. We're able to walk the streets again. Even that is hemorrhaging money now because no one cares about the metaverse anymore. Now, of course, some development is still going on in the metaverse. A lot of that technology is pivoting to games, which is where they should be in the first place, which is where the conceptual idea came from anyway. So they basically, had this thing with the metaverse. A lot of technology went into that, and now they've just basically gone back to their roots, which is gaming, right? Which is why, of course, gaming coins are popping, but that's a video for a different time. And we had weird ass things happen. Like, we had Banksy, one of, the most recognized modern artists of our era, one of the greatest, had his artwork burned and tokenized into NFTs and sold for ridiculous amounts of money. People were paying hundreds of thousands, some paid even millions for NFTs. And then what happened, unfortunately, was what usually happens. Once it got easy to make NFTs, to mint your own NFTs, people did just that. And we were hit with hundreds of thousands and thousands of garbage, just nonsense. Who's going to pay 2 ETH, or 0.4 ETH for a scribble? And it just became really ridiculous, right? And what was supposed to be a technology that brought a little bit of value for actual artists, actual creators and stuff, just became a big joke. It just became, people parting with an ETH for a graphic. You've got to be absolutely insane. But you know what? People were doing it, which is why a lot of people are stuck with these sort of things now. We had the Bored Apes, we had the meme ones that really blew up in the NFT world. But most of these guys now, they're stuck with their memes, they're stuck with their NFTs with no way to sell them. I mean, who in their right mind is going to pay $3,000 for this? That's absolutely insane, right? But there is hope. There is hope yet. And the hope will come, in my opinion, from the music industry. First of all, the more artists start to release their albums in NFT format, people that are going to buy those albums anyway, those singles anyway, can support the artists directly by buying music directly from the artist. I'm not going to pay 100 ETH for this, though. I mean, that's absolutely cuckoo for Cocoa Pops, right? That's what? Anyway, the music industry is going to be the one who's going to resolve this issue, right? They're going to take NFTs to where it's supposed to be, returning analog value to digital products, right? I think the art world, the photography world, they failed for now because, JPEGs are easy to come by, but new music from your actual, people that you like to their fan base directly. And obviously it brings the Web3 format of cutting out the middleman. That's going to be huge. Another thing is it's a win-win for the artist and the fan, because as a fan, let's say for argument's sake, you're a fan of 50 Cent and he comes out with a new album marketed directly from his website, NFTs only. You buy that album, it has inherent value because A, you can't duplicate it. B, you can sell it on to somebody else at value. Also, albums that you buy, they can bundle in some tickets for events, memorabilia, merch, things like that. You might get maybe VIP treatment when you do something. Companies can advertise and put perks into albums. Say if you buy a 50 Cent album or an Eminem album or Taylor Swift album or an Adele album or whatever, maybe British Airways or American Airlines might advertise in that. I give you a flight for free. That will be all inbuilt in an NFT, and you can sell that bundle on to somebody else. And when you sell it to somebody else, they receive all of that value. Sometimes when you do that, the original creator might even get a cut. So if you were to make profit, for instance, they might be inheriting a share of that profit forever. Again, it all depends on what's written in the contract. So this is a very bright future for NFTs in this direction. So while Bored Apes and monkeys and JPEGs and stuff might be dead, I think NFTs have an amazing future when it comes to fan-based stuff, football tickets, season tickets for basketball, season tickets for your favorite musicians' concerts, all rolled up in some NFT stuff that you bought from their website. The sky is the limit. Web3 music is the future, and NFTs are going to be an absolute center of that. Not financial advice. Do your own research, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.